The base game of Minecraft is a bit laggy, to say the least. As Mojang releases updates in the future, it will be our tech that lives in the past. Or is it something else that causes Minecraft to bring PCs around the globe to their knees? You would think that after all this time, that not just spaghetti code, as it's been called in the past, has been fixed by Microsoft by now since they bought Mojang. Well, it was apparently such poor code that Microsoft decided to code an entirely new version, which we now know today as the Bedrock Edition. This version, however, takes a lot of shortcuts and alters the base game in many ways, such as changing the way redstone works. And obviously the community would cause an uproar if Java Edition disappeared. So here we are, left with the great and massive Minecraft modding community to save the day for players around the world. Back in the day, modders would rely on community donations or things like AdFly to earn revenue, but today, Minecraft itself offers revenue sources for modders, with CurseForge having one as well. This, combined with YouTube and donations, appears to have been enough of a motivating factor for modders to create more complex and intricate chunks of code to keep the Minecraft train running. Personally, a few years ago, I chose to stop playing the game from not even Optifine being able to save my FPS. And on top of that, the Forge mod loader was doing nothing but cranking up the heat on my CPU. This was the final nail on the coffin for me, since mods were the only thing keeping me attached to the game. Then a few months ago I heard about Fabric mods and came across the fabulously optimized mod pack, which includes dozens of optimization mods that are designed specifically for the Fabric API. With the promise of an FPS increase in the hundreds, I was intrigued, and so began my journey back into Minecraft. Fabric is a mod loader designed to be lightweight and simple. This way they can update it much faster than the Forge loader, allowing mod developers to also be able to update their code quickly. The only downside to Fabric is that Forge supports much more heavyweight mods than it can, but to the average player this means nothing, especially if your main concern is performance. Forge also has its own desktop application that allows for players to have a much more simple time creating their own mod packs, with an interface instead of the old way of downloading and dragging files between multiple folders. While Fabric is nothing but a mod loader at the moment, which you install into your client. From a glance as a player, it seems that Fabric has picked up the slack, where the Forge mod loader has fell off or is unable to keep similar pace. Or they just care about players who don't want to spend hundreds to thousands of dollars to upgrade their hardware just to play a game for fun. From my research, I was unable to find any specific reasoning beyond increased performance, as the developers of Fabric either don't use Twitter or they have it set to private. During the time that I've been back, I've used the CurseForge application along with Overwolf to run my mods, and I've had absolutely zero issues with anything outside of mods not being updated for the version I'm looking for. Forge mods obviously don't run on Fabric and vice versa, so in the community you'll find a lot of drama associated with this. And developers also seem to have their opinions on either never porting to Fabric or leaving the Forge loader and only updating the Fabric version. This in turn has caused players to be upset about their favorite mods not being compatible anymore. At one point there was something called Patchwork in the works, which was planned to work with Quilt. Quilt is a fork of Fabric meant to be even more lightweight. I'm unsure as to why Quilt was created other than this comment stating, the main reason it was created was to have a different governmental structure where no one person had absolute power. But as of now it seems Quilt is still in beta and all Fabric mods should work with Quilt. I couldn't find much more information on Quilt other than that, so I'd recommend sticking to Fabric, as it seems from community posts on Reddit to be the more stable loader. But back to Patchwork. Patchwork was meant to be a Forge compatibility layer on top of Fabric. Patchwork would allow Forge mods and Fabric mods to be loaded and played together, which is currently not something that can be done. Fabric, Quilt, and Patchwork all have their own Discord servers, which I haven't checked out yet because I'm lazy and I don't understand half of the back-end stuff anyway. In case you wanted to take a peek, I'll leave those all in the description. But it seems that Patchwork is on hold until a use case arises for it, as another mod API called Architectury allows for modding of both Forge and Fabric simultaneously, meaning modders have an easier time porting to both mod loaders. This quote from Architectury Wiki states it best. Architectury API is an API to abstract calls to Fabric API and Forge API, as both loaders have different implementations of what can be perceived as the same thing. So it would seem that every mod should be on both Forge and Fabric with the use of Architectury API, right? Mostly, yes, but at the cost of additional requirements for developers to go through. I'm no professional coder and can barely understand half the words on this document, but that seems like a hassle. In the end, players will use the loader with the mods they enjoy, and if developers for some reason do not want to switch over to Fabric, then players will be left with the Forge loader, leaving a lot of players with lower end PCs in the dark. Although the two currently work in unison to create a seamless modding experience for the player. An example being when you use Fabulously Optimized for the base of a mod pack you're building, the CurseForge client will automatically sort search results for the version of Minecraft you've selected in the custom profile settings, as well as only showing mods that are ported to or built for Fabric. So maybe in the future, we will see Fabric and CurseForge combine forces more so than they have already now to create the ultimate modded Minecraft experience for players, with use of things such as Architectury or Patchwork to enable developers' success in creating mods for both loaders. But in the current state, to somebody on the outside looking in, modded Minecraft is an absolute shit show of chaos, and without the community creating easily accessible tutorials and guides that even a child could follow, the entire ecosystem would not have progressed to where it stands today. The complexity of Minecraft modding compared to its humble beginnings will only become increasingly more complicated as time goes on, with Fabric stepping up to carry the weight of the potato gamers that Forge seemingly doesn't care about. Maybe we'll see the rise of user-friendly interfaces for modding, such as CurseForge has been attempting with its desktop application, allowing for developers and players to both thrive in this ever-growing ecosystem. And as for my case, Fabric has allowed me to be able to run the most nostalgic game from my childhood once again, running it even better than it did for me years ago. Obviously, this is not just from Fabric alone, but from all the mods included in Fabulously Optimized. But Fabric has been the foundation and maybe even the inspiration for these other mods to come to be, as some of them were exclusive to Fabric until they were forked for Forge. And as we move into the future, I think it will be the backs of the modding community titans that Minecraft is carried by, which will bring it along for the journey for many, many years to come. Whether you hate it or love it, whether you're a developer or player, you cannot deny the fact that Fabric is carrying its weight in that journey. Because for somebody like me, it allowed for a step back into the childhood, which Minecraft was a huge part of. I wouldn't know half of the things I do today about computers without this game and the community that surrounds it, and will be forever grateful for those I've met along the way. If Minecraft is just as nostalgic for you as it is for me, drop a like on this video so maybe somebody else who's had a similar situation as me can find this video and see the amazing work that Fabric has done for the ecosystem. So maybe they can come back, if but for a moment, to relive part of their childhood again. And leave a comment down below letting me know your thoughts and experiences with the Fabric vs Forge situation, as I see there's been quite the commotion going on about this on Reddit. You can check the description for links to things I've mentioned in this video, such as the Fabulously Optimized mod pack and CurseForge client download. Consider subscribing while you're down there to motivate me to create more great content like this in the future. And until next time, stay curious, my friend.